I'm going to be, I will have very good chances of winning. And it gave me this confidence that I am so close to being at my best. And then the next game, once I won, and once I played a very good game, I won. I felt at my best, and I just after that it was, yeah, just about proving that I was the best.
Well, Gukesh Domaraju, in many ways, just beginning what is sure to be a sparkling chess career. And this is his first shot at the world title and a setback in the first game. But his former coach, Vishnu Prasanna, he wrote that Gukesh surprised me early on with his strategic sense and unique strategic decisions. Most of all, he has a tremendously important qualities like willingness to learn, curiosity, and a good temperament to handle pressure. This was said in 2019 after Gukesh became a grandmaster at age 12. So, Judith, this guy has been on the scene for a while, and the maturity level and just the poise of a wily veteran, it has to be seen to be believed. But he's going to have to tap into that here.
Yes, indeed, he's having the most difficult 2 weeks of his life, I think, coming up. Started already yesterday for sure. And yeah, it's he's a very special player, I think, with a quite special approach. The way he thinks that even a loss, it was a wake up call for him. He started to rethink many things after that loss in the candidates. But uh, I like to point out that actually it was a very different story. It's very different when you lose a game and you still see that you're actually half a point behind. And you still know that there are plenty of ways to try and quite a few games to go and actually win the race. Here, I think it was much more painful, this loss, because it was at the very start. So this is something I don't think Gukesh has too much of experience, because his career goes very clearly high, 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 and he sometimes, when he's losing or has some bad games, it's between many of the winning games. So this is why it's a huge challenge, and we have to understand also that in sport you don't have a win-win. One wins and the other one loses, and who is losing, the whole world is collapsing in him. So that's why it's such a great battle, and so difficult battle when you play a match like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gukesh has such support from millions of fans in India, and of course his parents, who never put undue pressure on him. His father went all in very early on and talked a lot about his approach that is carried over to Gukesh. Gukesh demands a lot from himself, but you have to have that healthy balance of pressure and self forgiveness when things go wrong. Um, but for Dingley Ren, you really cannot celebrate his transformation enough. We saw the old Dingley Ren, the old Tiger, the 2,800 plus Dingley Ren yesterday, but he needs to keep that Dingley Ren in Singapore and keep the old one out. He also needs to keep Black's Knight out of D4, or does he? No, he doesn't.
Well, let's get back to where the game is, which is very interesting. After Rook DC1, Gukesh is already in deep thought for 18 minutes. So he's
This is very
getting,
interesting.
trying to get familiar with the problems. Because in this kind of positions, for example, when I was younger and I
I'm
was still
losing my
competing, it
mind.
would happen with me that I was very optimistic. Okay, it's pretty equalish, it's equal pawns, my knights
Kind
is
of
the
did it to
same.
myself, but it's fine.
What's the big deal? I have the d4 square, a5 is weak, knight from c3 cannot making a move, right? So all these things can get. I have my d5. What's the problem? All my pieces stands very healthy, and then some small details come when you play against Karpov, let's say, and somehow you realize that actually maybe it doesn't look so fantastic active for white, but he has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And what am I going to do against it? So this is the big question for Gukesh. I think that he's observing the ideas, what Ding's plan, which is very clear. Of course, he got it very fast at knight e1, knight d3. So what can I do against it?
Now we can actually.
Can I
Well-
only just defend myself, or should I look for some very concrete idea? Or maybe possibly he goes knight d8, knight d6. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, knight d4 is not mandatory, but just to echo your point,
right.
Ding won that last round of the candidates in Madrid
Tiles right here cleared
against
out.
Hikaru
Show
in a
off
very
a
similar
couple of
kind
examples of
Karpovian,
doing the first sets of bombs
style,
along.
just squeezing a tiny advantage.
I'm going to try and do it early
laying
on
the
this
structure
attempt.
brick by brick. Gukesh
But
himself
screwing
showed
the fight up
mastery
can also
of
be
the two
difficult,
knights
so I might
against Wei in the
not
Olympiad.
get the
Both
right
players,
example right away.
they can appreciate that what starts out as
Okay,
a
well,
tiny, seemingly
that was extremely
insignificant
early, and it
symbolic
left all of the
advantage,
time.
before you know it, it can blossom, and not in a good way, into an incredibly unpleasant.
All right, so this is an excellent
two-result
example
position.
of being just
Now,
a
to your idea of
smidge too
98,
early. In
I
this
like it.
case,
Black has
create
the exact
now
same maneuver
that you can do clip through the
with
floor.
maybe the bonus of f7,
Attempts
f5 becoming
was
possible.
pushed
My King's Indian
Other ones.
heart is beating here at that prospect.
pro bomb, and there
Might be counterproductive though to open
Delay.
the center.
Well, there is only one huge problem, that the c5 pawn is not
So here,
exactly having
as I mentioned when we were talking about the
same
clip
kind
heading,
of
Olmec is aligned
problems than the c4.
all the way on
That's
the
only
left
problem,
edge
that Black's
of this
vulnerability on the c5
shoot
pawn is
here,
much
so to speak.
higher.
And
And
that
that's
can
the
cause a
question, how it
problem
will
that
be
affected
defended,
me quite a lot,
I
where
could get my knight to
the time-
e6 maybe,
wait,
like knight h5.
let me
Is that?
Which means also that probably the rook on a8, I have the feeling that it would be standing better. You could also go knight d7, f8 through f8 to e6 if that's the goal.
Okay, so you can just go rook f8 to a8, castling with the rooks.
Well, knight h5, somehow it seems kind of far for me. I mean, I
I
think I
agree.
can go knight d5 and
Wow.
but also g3 can be something to consider, I think.
So that's why Singapore is a bottled water shortage. Just kidding. Staying hydrated, the pressure energy burned at the board. Hydrate or dihydrate. But where are the knights going to go here for Black?
Ding seems to be kind of happy.
Oh. Enjoying every minute of the chess. So can we explore 98 a little bit more? Let's put this on the board with the offer for this. But wait, knight a4. Knight a4 might be left.
Yeah, because actually everything is happening.
Construction takes. And again, if the rook's on a8, this would be the disaster.
You see, we are getting there where the rook should be on a8 for different reasons.
Every time. And here b6, knight a6 is just... And
So
why
this
does he have to
class,
go knight
we
a6?
all
Knight
get
takes
to pick our
e5 is
own
fine.
research
Total
topic.
collapse.
Oh.
Somebody's
so
presentation
98
is
was a
the
principal
multifaceted
question.
trauma of pornography.
Principal question. So let's
But actually,
see.
knight h5 does create the defensive resource knight f4, which threatens a fork. So I might be able to take care of knight a4 that way.
Yes, I think Black should look for the counter chance option. So White can go King F1, for example, for making a prophylactical move, which I think King F1 generally just a very smart thing if I have the time for it, because all kind of knight d4, knight f4, e2 square is covered.
Mm-hmm. So let's say I follow through on my idea.
But maybe now I just go knight d5.
Yeah,
Well, the good news
mistake
is in a
probably
class of like 26 people, only 9 people have posted their presentations.
your old idea.
And then it's time.
Yeah.
Actually, c3, yeah, c3 b4 is if we go back to our basic idea, it is something to consider for sure.
Man, it's like Black solves one problem.